Welcome back to Rosie's Garage. On this episode, we're going to get the body off the frame and get the frame coated with KBS's coating kit. Let's get to it. It is almost all stripped down. Last thing we have to do is to pull this cab off. But before I pull the cab off, I'm going to finish adding in these spot welds and maybe fill in down here. That way, if we pick the cab up, it's not twisting and distorting it. And the last thing I might do is cut in this firewall plate while everything's open like this too. Well, we got the firewall all spot welded in, and while I was at it, I put some seam sealer on everything too. But I think we're good to go here. Got the firewall wiring block put in, and we are ready to lift this cab off. We're getting ready to start the KBS frame coating kit, and it is a 3-step process. First step is cleaning everything up, and then we spray this etcher on there, etch the metal, and then finally we seal it up. So to start with, we're going to mix this KBS cleaner with some warm water and get the power washer out and power wash the frame, and then we'll scuff everything up, get all the surface rust off everything, and get ourselves a nice clean surface to start with. You can see on this frame all the surface rust that's developed over the years, and we have some tape residue, and a lot of that stuff is what we're gonna try to get cleaned off of this before we get started here.
And one for my homie.
Got it all scrubbed down. You can see the surface rust, a lot of it on the concrete here. There's a lot of stuff that came off. You see how dirty my water is here too. I'll dump it out, but oh yeah, full of nasty rust. This steel wool and the scuff pad took the majority of the surface rust off, so I'd highly recommend grabbing that. There are a couple of those if you're going to do a frame yourself. I mean, there's still some surface rust on there, but I'm not going to spend the next 10 days trying to just scrub all that off. I think once it dries and you etch it, that top coat will stick pretty good. So let's get this power washed off, and we're going to push back inside to dry. The next step is using this Rust Blast pre-paint primer to etch everything. But the instructions say to wait until the frame is dry before you spray this directly on there, so we're probably gonna let this sit overnight and we'll hit it tomorrow. I decided just to strip the frame down. It'd be easier to actually coat everything, and I won't have to worry about getting drips on the other components, and I need to do some paint anyway. So we are now ready for step 2, which is spraying this Rust Blast on the frame. And the instructions say to spray the frame, keep it wet for a minimum of 10 minutes for smooth or lightly rusted surfaces, 20 to 40 minutes for moderately rusted surfaces, and 1 to 2 hours for heavily rusted surfaces. And I honestly have a little bit of everything, all those surfaces on this frame. So for the next hour, I'm gonna keep it sprayed down, and then we'll rinse it off after that. I'm very impressed with that etching primer. If you remember, this whole area here was just pure rust, and look, it ate it all the way. Looking great. So we'll let the frame dry, and tomorrow we'll coat it. We're back and everything is dry. You can see there's a nice zinc phosphate coating all over the frame. And they said that the orange rust spots are normal, and you want that zinc phosphate coating on there to help the rust seal actually stick to the frame. So we are ready for step number 3, using this rust seal. Saying to apply thin coats consecutively within 6 hours of each coat. So today we are going to try to get the 2 coats done on here. Hopefully we have enough. Look at that finished product. I'm loving it. We applied the first coat and we had to wait a little while, so we ended up scuffing it up with some sandpaper, wiping it down, and then putting the second coat of this on, letting that dry, scuffed it again, and brushed on a coating of this blacktop coating, chassis paint. Came with this same kit. It's supposed to only need applied if there's going to be exposed to like UV light or whatnot. Most of this is not going to be exposed to the sun all the time, but I figured since we had it, we might as well just brush it on. And it turned out great.
I did end up with a few runs here and there. In a few spots, it's streaky if you look really close, but for the most part, I mean, it's a very tough, durable coating on here. Way tougher than just your average spray paint, and really cost effective too. You know, cheaper than getting something powder coated if you're willing to take the time to apply it. I like the coating so much that I ended up buying a second kit to do the rear end and then the rest of these, you know, frame supports or the body supports. So it did take 2 kits to actually get this entire frame done. Another thing I wanted to point out was I was mounting this fuel tank, and before it just had the bare metal straps, and I wanted some rubber between it. I ended up finding on Amazon a roll of this 2-inch wide rubber to go between the fuel tank straps. Thought you guys might appreciate that if you have any projects that are similar to this one. Well, that's it for this episode. In the next episode, we're going to put in our brake master cylinder, run all of our brake lines, and finish all that up. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.